Man, big dog, I deliberated over this one for a while. I think the Eagles absolutely will regret trading Carson Wentz because they're going to see Carson Wentz succeed long before they ever will. I think the Eagles are going to kick back and have a lot of regrets off of this Carson Wentz trade. Number one, they're going to regret hiring Nick Sirianni, at least in the short term.
Really?
Why? Because on paper, Sal, we all said, oh, they hired Nick Sirianni, who coached under Frank Wright, because Nick Sirianni was going to partner with Carson Wentz, $128 million Carson Wentz, and regain the success that Carson Wentz had. The Nick Sirianni hire didn't make any sense outside of Nick Sirianni's relationship to Frank Wright and Frank Wright's relationship to Carson Wentz. So now that the primary reason that you hired your head coach is no longer present and available, it just makes you curious. It also can make you call for regret. The second reason they're going to regret trading Carson Wentz is because they're going to look around and say, wait a second, now we have to put the keys of our franchise into another question mark. Carson Wentz, obviously, coming off of his last season, he was a question mark. He had 3 consecutive good seasons statistically. Last season, atrocious. So going into the season, question about Carson Wentz's performance. But there's also a question about the person who's now running the Eagles franchise in Jalen Hurts. 1-3 as a starter. Second year now would he be going into as a starter. The 4th best rookie quarterback last year. Question mark. The other thing they're going to look up and see, Sal, is, wait a second. Our leading receiver on the team was a practice squad guy who started 9 games. Our second leading receiver on the team was a tight end. Our third leading receiver on the team was a rookie. Our 4th leading receiver on the team was a blocking tight end. So they're going to kick back, assess their offensive talent, assess their offensive roster, and be like, wait a second, the cupboard is still empty. Meanwhile, they're going to have to look over to Indy and be like, this dude Carson Wentz living good, like he should.
Is he?
He is.
Is he?
And so I think, big dog, the Eagles are going to have their regrets at least in the short term.
Oh, man. No regrets. No regrets at all. You talking about living good in Indy. Yeah, rent-free, because guess what? You ain't chipping in. They got this big old mansion. What is he, in a pool house? Like, Carson Wentz, golly. Y'all asked the question. I'm going to give you the answer. How would the Philadelphia Eagles regret getting rid of Carson Wentz when that's what they truly wanted? Why did they draft at his position in the second round in the first place unless they were already prepared, at least mentally, for this moment? Think about it. Do the Philadelphia Eagles have regrets in terms of paying them all that money? That's a regret. How about regret trying to actually make it work with them and appease them once you realize, man, this dude is trash? Yeah, that's a regret. What about in the battle of trying to figure out what's the right course of action, you lose your head coach, a Super Bowl winning head coach? Because Carson Wentz is not a Super Bowl winning quarterback. He was just on the team wearing a jersey, wearing something like that on the sidelines, but not in the game, on the field in action. What about losing your way? A 7-win team won this division, and you guys couldn't even muster up 7 wins with a franchise quarterback that was costing you $128 million. What about the fact that you lost hope? I don't know if you were here early enough to listen to Eric Mangini talk about this guy has lost the locker room a couple of times. Losing the locker room, not being an inspirer of men. That's what's on Carson Wentz's resume. And let's talk about that resume, because right now, goodness, you keep wanting to talk about how good he is in most seasons, and then he just had an atrocious season last year. That's not going to work. Carson Wentz went 11-2 in 2017.
Sir?
He is 24, 30-1 in his other 4 seasons. That's a losing record. So if you want to go season by season, you can try and add it up, but it's still going to come up to an L in terms of Carson Wentz's production. Let's talk about just last year, and then see what you got to say about this. You know that his completion percentage was only better than one person? Drew Lock.
What about Jalen Hurts?
Huh?
Did you not count Jalen Hurts?
He didn't qualify. He didn't have enough reps. Give him time. Oh, 2021 coming. He gonna get them reps. Do you know that his passing yards per attempt was only better than Dwayne Haskins? And Nick Foles. Oh, where'd he go? Do you know that his passer rating was only better than Sam Darnold? Do you know that sacks? He was better than no one. He had the most sacks. How about giveaways? Nobody. He had the most. What about interceptions? Nobody. He had the most. How is that going to be resurrected when he goes to a new place, a new scene, new environment? Tell me, because I don't see it.
I'll tell you like this, Sal. Regret isn't predicated upon your experience with the other person. It's predicated upon the success they have after they all depart.
Ooh.
Think about it, big dog. You said this yesterday. I think you said it on the air. You might have said it off. When you got drafted, my dog Marcellus, he finally paid off. Went to Columbia, underdog gets drafted. Your phone rang by a female who wasn't showing you no attention back in high school.
Okay.
Please.
No. I did it before and she didn't like it. She married now.
My dog Marcellus was getting no love by this woman in high school, but then all of a sudden he gets drafted. Hello? Hey, Sal.
What it do?
Hey, Sal. See, clearly she had a regret because you were now coming into a better situation. It's not that y'all's situation wasn't great. It's not that y'all's situation was great. But you were coming into a better situation. So she, the nameless woman, is now having regrets. It's the same thing here. It's not that the Eagles' situation with Wentz was great. It's just that Wentz is about to go into a better situation. What do I mean? 2 Pro Bowlers on his offensive line. He didn't have that last year in Philly. No. Offensive line continuity, he did not have that last year in Philly. A dominant running back week in, week out. Miles Sanders was great, but didn't produce like Jonathan Taylor. A head coach who he actually gets along with. He didn't have that last year in Philly. So I'm not dealing with Carson Wentz, the Eagles' lack of regret because they didn't have good times. No. Just like this woman who remained nameless and faceless in Marcellus Wiley's life, that regret showed up because you came into a good thing. Carson Wentz is about to come into a good thing. Eagles going to regret that move, big dog.
Oh, man. I like that example, except in this example, I'm the Colts. And I ain't got no time for what you talking about, Carson Wentz. I ain't got no time for her when she called me on draft day. I was like, first of all, do you hear that call waiting? Other people calling too. You ain't the only one. So, Phillip Rivers, I'm not just kidding. Let me stop. So I'm a little different in that situation, but I love that example. Dog, I have seen this before, and you have seen this before as well. And it wasn't me on draft day with the nameless and the faceless. It was watching RG3, your boy. Watch RG3 on that football field evaporate his career right before our very eyes. Being real, when I watched RG3 get injured and then come back too soon in the playoff game, and then when he went down, I had to look at my football soul and say, man, are you okay? Because you just witnessed the death of a career right in that moment. Why I bring up RG3? Because I think there's a comp. There might be a parallel between RG3
Take me there, sir.
and that tremendous year and then just never the same. We keep talking about Carson Wentz and that tremendous year, but really never the same. I can go even further. I can go even more intimate. I can go to my own career. Now, I wasn't a big enough name or big enough face for everyone to take notice of, but bruh, your boy went out there on the back surgery and had 10.5 sacks. Your boy went out there the next year and had 13 sacks with a broken foot. And then everybody was like, oh, they hopped on the wagon. Got my money, too. And then all of a sudden, people started to say, why only 6 sacks? Why only 3 sacks? Why no sacks? And I had an answer because my football soul had been taken from me from the game. That is so fickle. And this game doesn't promise you anything. No entitlement, brother. And all I'm saying is I'm looking at Carson Wentz in totality, and I'm seeing an anomaly. 2017. I'm not seeing that's who he is in complete record and resume. Be real about this. You look at Carson Wentz, other than the birth certificate, what else is giving you all of this hope and expectations? 1 year. Other than that, you don't see it. Most giveaways when he wasn't even pressure. You keep talking about this offensive line. Listen to this. When not facing pressure, Wentz still had the most giveaways in the league at 12 last year. And the second worst completion percentage, Acho. That means no matter what you do up front, up here, he may be shot.
Let me break it down. Let me break it down for you. Let me break it down for y'all. Let me break this whole thing down. Where do I get my hope with Carson Wentz?
Where
do I get my hope as far as thinking the Eagles are going to regret trading him? It's this. 2017, 33 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, 11-2 was Carson Wentz.
Sick.
2018, 21 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. That was Carson Wentz. The Eagles did not have success, but Carson Wentz still did. 3-to-1 touchdown interception ratio.
That ain't the same, though.
It's not.
In aggregation,
like not
in
MVP,
absolute,
but it's good.
Yeah,
it's good.
It's efficient, but it's not the same absolute. All of a sudden, you're not jumping as high.
Correct.
Right?
But you're still getting up there. You're not hitting that. You're not hitting that. You know that when you do the combine test and you hit that last one,
Oh, stay there. Okay. So 2017, he hit them all. The next year, you're like, okay, we got to put more up there because he already hit them all.
Correct.
He ain't even hit where he hit before.
Correct.
Come on.
But he was still up there. He was still compared to everybody else. Carson Wentz, 21 touchdowns, 7 picks.
But not compared to himself.
Correct. 2019, 27 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, 4,000-yard passer, no 500-yard wide receivers. So when I look at Carson Wentz, big dog, the records were not the same as 2017, but Carson Wentz was a top 5, top 7, top 10 quarterback. You might want to say he's
Hold on, 5 and 10 is whole different animals, but I hear you.
In 2017, I would say 5.
Okay.
By 2018-19, I would say top 10. When you're looking at Carson Wentz, I'm like, can he get back to that? When the Eagles won the Super Bowl, they didn't have a 1,000-yard receiver. Colts, they ain't got no 1,000-yard receivers. They have a aggregation of good receivers. When the Eagles won the Super Bowl with Carson Wentz, they didn't have a running back with 200 carries. They had an aggregation of running backs. The Colts have one dude as a running back. When the Eagles won the Super Bowl, they had an all-pro center. They had another all-pro offensive lineman. The Colts, they got an all-pro center. They got another all-pro offensive lineman in Quentin Nelson. The Eagles had a defense that could do their job. The Colts got a defense that can do their job. When I'm thinking about can Carson Wentz get back there, when I'm thinking about will the Eagles have regrets, they absolutely will have regrets because they're going to go back and see Carson Wentz for who he can be.
Wait a minute. I heard a lot right there, so let's come back at it. Let's start with the offensive line. He had the 16th ranked offensive line in pass blocking last year. How you have the most giveaways and how you have the most sacks? It ain't the line. It's your processor. His RAM, whatever the hell going on in his head is not processing this game accurately like you need to, efficiently. Let's talk about the fact that now you're talking about intangibles and how he's going to get, first of all, stop saying he's getting back to the Super Bowl. He ain't never been to the Super Bowl, dog. You don't, look, I know he has a ring and good for him. It's empty calories. He didn't put in on that Super Bowl championship. Look, he got him to 11-2. And then he said, y'all got to finish the race. Look, if you were running a 400 and you ran 280 of it, ain't no gold medal for you, even though your team.
Didn't Gronk miss the Super Bowl? But we don't say he has 3. We say Gronk
You have
has
never
4.
asked me that question. Gronk got 3. No, I don't give a damn. Like, he knows it. That's why he had to come back and get another one. He wanted the real one. Here's the thing. Intangibles. Tom Brady, as great as he is with his tangibles, still at 43. His intangibles is what took them over the hump, correct?
Yes, sir.
Tell me about intangibles when you hear reports of a franchise quarterback and his head coach not talking for up to 10 weeks. Is that going to lead men? Is that going to do something? On top of...
It's a report.
Hey, on top of the report and reports that he's had locker room division because of him as the catalyst. Now, let's talk about the fact that if you look at him, the evidence is there. I'm going to stop talking numbers. I'm going to go back to the field with you.
Please, let's go there.
When we were in the locker room, we were before social media. At least you weren't. I was.
Yep.
We could talk and say anything because we knew it wasn't getting out. We had a protected space. Oh, my God. You're talking about understanding how to get to the core of an issue. Go into an NFL locker room before social media and before the reporters got in. But the peers are the ones who were the best jury. Like in real life, like in the locker room, we talked about who was good and who wasn't good. We always knew, oh, he next level. He ain't next level. He's sorry. But then you get to the podium and you say what you got to say because we got to protect the space. You lost that because you're in social media. But you know what y'all still have? NFL Top 100. Y'all still get to vote anonymously. Y'all get to go back to my day when y'all didn't have to put your names on it and just say it and be protected by that privacy. Was Carson Wentz voted an NFL Top 100 player despite having a contract, $128 million, despite already having a Super Bowl, despite 2017? No, he wasn't. Once again, the jury spoke.